You're watching Telesur English. I am Estefania Bravo, and now let's go live to Caracas, where Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro is addressing the nation. He is expected to reveal more details about the failed attempt on his life, including who was responsible. Let's listen in.
Here we are with Facebook Live and Instagram in a nationwide chain, and I would like to greet our Venezuelan people and our friends throughout the world who are listening to us, who are watching us. We are from the Ayacucho Rim in the presidential palace of Miraflores. Today, August 7th, the day of Boyacá, the Bolivarian triumph in Nueva Granada. The day when we were able to finally free the swords of victory with Bolivar as general. And we were able to free Bogotá. And Colombia was founded by the revolutionary forces of Bolivar, of the big armies, that will then proceed south to complete one of the most beautiful works of our history. On August 7, I wanted to speak and address our country. After this time, after these hours that have taken place after the events against myself, the terrorist attack that wanted to kill us, not only to kill the president, which was the main objective of this terrorist attack, but also to kill a country, to kill hope, to kill the beam of peace, to kill the idea of coexistence and peace, assured peace, an idea of democracy as the supreme formula for life amongst Venezuelans. They wanted to kill, to stop, to fill with violence the political and social life of Venezuela. Today, I am together with many survivors of this terrorist attack. And as I said right now, and I mentioned this to the officers, the military members that were injured with the explosion of the terrorist drones, members of our armed forces, of our National Bolivarian Guard. We were born again on August 4th. And Chinita, with her blessings, was the one who allowed us to keep on living. This is what I think. This is what I feel in my heart. The one who I kissed, who was given to me by yourself, the soldiers, when there was attack over us, a criminal attack of murderers, of hired gangs, murderers, hired gangs, criminals. And Chinita, the Virgin, covered us with its holy light. Amen, Chinita. Thank you, golden Chinita, beautiful Chinita. I was telling you, we are united because it was a day of miracles. We were saved by a miracle. Beyond the security measures, friends and brothers in survival, we were born again on August 4th. President of the Supreme Court of Justice, Dr. Michael Moreno, who was there with me at the stage, and you were a first-hand witness of this terrorist attack. President of the Moral Council, General Attorney of the Republic, Saad, and also Professor Galindo, Ombudsman, Executive Vice President, who wasn't there due to health reasons, but she was also surely part of the murder plan. Vice President of the Government, Vice President of the Economy, together with Minister Wilmar Castro, who was in Turkey, but the rest of my ministers were there. each one of them friends and brothers of the military command of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, generals, admirals. I would like to address you and the rest of the officers who were at this stage and who were part of the military family, the wives and also the children who were at this act. Friends, brothers and sisters of the Guard of Honor and your commander, Major General Hernandez Dala, all of you for your brave and decided reaction, for your professional reaction. It was impressive to see the capacity of the military of Venezuela. We can teach the world about this. We can teach them about security measures and the bravery of the military that is committed to the nation and the revolution. Thank you. Thank you, boys and girls of the military. And well, particularly about this, we were assessing the event, and Venezuela is not used politically to kill its opponent. Venezuela doesn't have a history of magnicides. There was one against Delgado Chalbón that then was investigated due to different reasons, and he was kidnapped and then murdered. But it has happened only once during 2 centuries in very, very strange circumstances that had never been part of the struggle for power, of the political strife, even though these are circumstances that are still debated by historians. The attempted assassination of President Rómulo Betancourt in the 60s is the only case, the only public case known in 200 years of the Republic in Venezuela of attempting the assassination of a president of our republic. We know this history, however, we need to speak about it. We know that those groups, the ones that have accomplished, those who financed this, and the one who gave the order came from the Dominican Republic. The bloody dictator of the Dominican Republic, who has the nickname Chapita Trujillo. This assassination attempt came from abroad, the assassination of President Rómulo Betancourt. And the rest, even during the 60s, there was an armed fight of a political character. And the militia back then never thought about killing physically any political opponent. In the times of the revolution, we have seen that the right wing has tried to create a conspiracy and a coup, and it has gone beyond the limits of the political struggle. I reckon that the events that took place on August 4th are undoubtedly a breaking point, a crucial breaking point of the coup of the right wing in the political struggle of the country. It is one thing to speak about the political struggle of ideas under the framework of democracy, with ideas, with leadership. Under the framework of democracy and political struggle, we're capable of surprising with the battle of ideas. During the last 19 years of Venezuela, there have been 24 elections. On December 9th, election number 25th will be held. So when the Bolivarian Revolution commemorates the 20 years of existence on February 2, 2020, we will hold the record of 25 elections in the street of democracy and freedom, with a solid constitution, of a wide participation that contemplates public, civilian, and political freedoms. It has contemplated and built during these 20 years a democracy of thought, of action, of political protagonism that has never ever seen before in the Republican history of Venezuela, a solid democracy. And in democracy, in the field of the peaceful struggle for ideas, we have participated in each one of the political events. Venezuela and the rest of the world know that out of 24 elections, the Bolivarian forces have triumphed with popular votes in 22 occasions. Presidential elections in 2000. Referendum election that was the approval for the referendum in 2004. Presidential elections 2006, 2012, 2013, and the last one on May 20 of the present year, 2018. Elections to choose the National Assembly, year 2000, 2005, 2010, 2015. Parliament. Elections to elect governors 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2017. Elections of mayors in 135 municipalities, and also to elect the Constituent National Assembly, July 25, 1999, and July 30, 2017, elections to approve this constitution through a referendum. December 15, 1999. We're speaking about history, about the battle for ideas, about the history of election processes, to express the popular sovereignty, the unique one, the one that mandates the political life of the country. We could speak for hours, for days about this, to show what the political struggle of Venezuela has been. And the Venezuelan opposition, during all these years, has had two different streams. The one of infected waters of international and national conspiracy, as well as the stream of the waters for political and electoral struggle. Whenever the waters of the political struggle have been here to gather signatures to participate in elections, they have been welcome. And whenever they've been victorious, as always, we have been the ones to acknowledge their victory, of whichever its size could have been based on the election and the year it had taken place in. When the infected waters of the creators of the coup, we have called them with the Constitution in our hands. It is not a secret for the world that the opposition, this very opposition, in 2002, after a sequence of political victories of Commander Hugo Chavez Frias, planned the process for destabilization as well as a coup d'etat that eventually led to Chavez being overthrown in 2002, when many of you who are listening to me today were just children, were newborns, and never felt the experience that we have in our memory, in our bodies, of what the coup d'etat implied against Commander Chavez and all the conspiracy and destabilization took place in 2002. 11, 12, 13, and 14 of April. Those are starting dates that will always highlight the history of the 21st century and the contemporary history of Venezuela. April 11 and 12 of 2002 are sad days, days of treason. In this very room where we are today, and to avoid the acknowledgement of the Bolivarian Constitution approved by the people on December 15, 1999. In this very room, the president was overturned, as well as the ministers and the vice president. From this room, all powers were overturned: the judicial power, the legislative power, the moral power. A coup against all the state. In this very room, mayors were overthrown all of a sudden. And when our people and their officers, patriotic and revolutionary, saw this coup taking place, happening as a single and miraculous force, resurrected and united our people throughout the whole country of Venezuela. Lest we forget this, we always must remember this. What was a historical event? What happened on April 13th and 14th that brought the Constitution back and brought Chavez back to power, as well as the rest of the state. Those who were behind the coup, supported by the government of George W. Bush, with the government of Spain of José María Aznar, the right wing of the world, the facto powers of Venezuela, they thought their plan was perfect. They forgot a small detail, however. They forgot a small detail: the conscience, the passion, and the revolutionary force of millions of men and women united in the civilian and military side. Padrino, General in Chief, was a colonel back then, a patriot. He keeps the memories as well as the statements of the brave attitude, of the pondered and firm attitude of the colonels that were against the generals that wanted to create a coup. They spoke to them and were able to create the miracle of restituting the Constitution without firing a single shot, without a single person wounded or dead. This is where we come from. The right wing never assumed the event that took place in 2002, the oil sabotage of 2003. They never had a mea culpa for the country. And Commander Chavez brilliantly brought them in towards the electoral space, towards the political space. They brought them to this sphere patiently until, during a time, the opposition, the right wing, was once again incorporated to the electoral and institutional spaces where we coexist in peace. So there's a history behind us, a history of a permanent fight between the political stage and the non-political areas. Because how else can we name, how else can we call this, in a democratic fight, those who want to overthrow a government violently through a coup? And does a person in charge of a coup is creating politics? Well, this is something to be debated. How can we call someone in the political struggle for power someone who tries to kill, to assassinate their opponent with a bomb, or killing him or her in different ways? How can we call this a political fight, a democratic fight, a peaceful fight? This is where I want to show my insights of this moment, the moment after the terrorist attack that tried to kill us, dear compatriots. The terrorist attack that attempted to kill hope and peace in a country. Venezuela needs for the political struggle to take the path of ideas, of debate, of a civic fight, of popular vote. The political struggle should respect the life of the opponent, should respect the rules of the game, of what naturally should be deployment of forces whenever there's a political process in place. Political struggles should respect the rules of the Constitution. And in Venezuela, there's only one way to access political power. And we must repeat it ad nauseum. We need to explain it and re-explain it. The only way to access political power in Venezuela, in accordance with this constitution, is through the popular vote of the sovereign people of our nation, with the use of the institutional mechanisms. And the only way by which a public authority can be substituted, whether the president, whether a governor, whether a mayor, or any other authority of the different branches of power of the state, are through the mechanisms established here. It's not through a coup d'etat or an assassination attempt that a president of the Republic in Venezuela can be overthrown. It will never be like this. This is what we will always ensure with our life if needed. It will never be like this. During this time, after the attack, I am still surprised by the criminal event, the attempt assassination of the right wing with their coup. I am surprised by all the things that we are discovering about the intervention of the oligarchy of Colombia in the Venezuelan politics and the hired gangs, the assassins, the fascists that the Colombian oligarchy have imposed in Venezuela for a century, coming to the Venezuelan territory through political members of the opposition. I am still shocked. I am still shocked by the path that the right-wing opposition of Venezuela have taken. I say, it's time, compatriots, for you to listen to me, to defend and vindicate the political struggle through peaceful means, through electoral means, through institutional means, through civilized means. I vindicate this. I believe in peace. I believe in life as the superior way of creating politics. I believe in respect to our opponent. I believe in the debate of ideas. I believe in the truth of popular vote and its sovereign power. And I think that Venezuela must strive in order to get rid of what has already arrived. Assassins, the conception of murder that comes together with the Colombian oligarchy. Yes, the Colombian oligarchy. Behind these murders, there is a logistical structure of financial and political support of the Colombian oligarchy from Bogota and all the militia groups that have their areas of influence up to the border with Venezuela. Yesterday and today, because the investigation has progressed a lot. So I've been told, and as you know, during the first minutes of the events that transpired, you can clearly remember, after the explosion on August 4th, we were just about to finish the act. And it was requested of me to grant permission to finish the act. and I was sending my final message. Often these messages take a little bit longer than expected. I was greeting the Bolivarian National Guard, and we need to have an event for the National Guard because they have tainted the anniversary of our beloved National Guard. We need to plan and act for the national vindication of peace, of cohesion, of support to the National Guard, to its commander-in-chief and the Bolivarian Revolution. And in order to conclude my speech, that I wasn't able to finish due to what happened in the events at the political stage. I was about to finish. I spent some minutes with the members of our military, with our officers, with the cadets as well. Those professionals of the National Bolivarian Guard, those who have been wounded. Those people should thank Chinita in Maracaibo for saving their life. They were wounded. These injuries could have compromised their lives. They share with me the view of how the events transpired. They were in front. They were part of the military stand. And I was precisely, well, I was at the stage, I was at the podium. And during that time, I felt the presence of a flying device, a drone. Its sound was louder than the one that we often hear in political events. Now throughout the world, drones are forbidden in political acts. Today it happened in Colombia when President took office in the country of Colombia, and drones were banned there. There should be a reason behind this, right? The reason why they publicly ban the use of drones, not even for communications during presidential acts in Colombia, and of course in other places of the world as well. At that moment, I felt it. There is a video. You can look it up, you can find it. There is a video where the presidential platform and all the people who were there turned around for just a second, and we saw the incoming drone. The drone made a lot of noise over ourselves. It was far from the stage and maybe 100 meters away, maybe a little bit more, in the Bolivar Avenue. And I continued speaking. I was giving my speech, and all of a sudden the drone started moving towards the stage, and its sound made us all turn around and look upwards. And in a matter of seconds, from this moment, it exploded in front of us. And we know that it was a drone that was prepared to kill us. The chemical composition of this drone has already been analyzed. This drone that was flown, and you will see this in some videos that I will share. This drone was a part of an operation, a general operation. Our officers, our professionals, our cadets, they saw the incoming drone. And what they say, their statement, is very significant for investigators of this event. They think it was extremely weird to see the size and the sound of this drone, because they have been in other events and they know how small drones are. The drones that are used by the press, by the communication ministry, that are used by some filmmakers that are often with us to prepare some work. And they think that this drone was kind of strange, and they saw it coming into the Bolivar Avenue, and a cadet was telling me. Victor David Hernandez, third-year cadet, who now has trauma on his shoulder due to the explosion. Well, he was able to see the drone. The drone was backing up and then positioned over their heads. He was able to see the drone. And when he took his eyes away from it, the drone exploded. And the wave hit the bodies of the officers. And it sent some to the floor and wounded others. Some of them are miraculously saved. This is the hat that they wore. There's blood on it. The one of the people that were impacted by the lead used in this drone that was going to be used after it exploded in the presidential stage. Here we have another hat of the military members. It can just be seen, a hole that was drilled due to the lead of this drone. Here I have the materials that were used in this. There's still some remains of the blood. These are the bullets, and this was taken from the head of one of the officers. That's why I'm telling you, they tried to kill us all. This was an attack against us all. It was against you. It was against me. It was against the people. And we need to create justice. We need to ensure that never again a terrorist attack will take place, an attack or an event as such. Never again in our life. May God bless us, boys. You and your life. Here, take this back. You don't know how hard it was for me to learn in the angst of the moment that a group of soldiers were wounded of the Bolivarian army. This drone, according to the investigation, was located in the Cipreses business center by group number 2. It's called the Grupo Bravo group in the internal communications of the terrorist group. This drone flew over the facilities of the Supreme Court of Justice, of the judicial power. And it flew from the Cipreses Business Center, which is in front of the National Theater, in front of the Santa Teresa Church, where Nazareno has ceremonies during Easter. It was flown from Story 10 by a group of terrorists that were trained in Colombia, in the north of the department of Santander, in the Chinacota population, as they have stated, and they have acknowledged this. This is part of the file. The Chinacota population is one of the populations with the highest number of militiamen in Santander. It's brutal. My brothers of Colombia, my brothers from Chilacota, my brothers from the north of Santander, you know what you have to deal with every day, and the dictatorship of this territory from the hired gangs and the militia. We know, and we have located the place where these groups were trained. This is group number 2. It's called Grupo Bravo. As you will see in the orders that I will share with you, you will see this in the videos. It got orders of flying over this. They had already examined the territory. They had studied the Bolivar Avenue as a possible vantage point to take advantage in order to carry out the attack against the high command of the military and the president. They had previously observed on June 24th in Carabobo. They had also watched on July 5th as the videos in their cell phones and computers show of all the terrorists that have been captured so far. They had already observed the preparations of the parade of June 24th. And they rejected the idea of doing so in Carabobo because they weren't prepared. And they decided not to carry out on July 5 because they had a problem with the drones coming in, as you're going to see in the videos that I will share. And they decided to choose the Bolivar Avenue as the best place to carry out an attack as this, in an event where it is well known that the authorities and the president attend because August 4th is the anniversary of the Bolivarian Guard. This is an act that happens every year. We know that ever since Commander Chavez, we don't announce our events due to security measures. We don't announce where we're going to be at what time and how. Well, because for many years, groups that have attempted coups and conspiracies have tried to attack Commander Chavez and myself. I have denounced attempts of assassination in many occasions. I have proof of this. It's not a usual practice for me to announce the place where I will be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the place and the hour due to security reasons, something that every president can do around the world. I think that they no longer do it. Sometimes it makes it difficult in order to have media coverage, to have communication of the events, because events happen all of a sudden. So they had the possibility of studying, of programming GPS systems and drones from the location of the event on the Bolivar Avenue. And they got the confirmation that the event was going to take on the Bolivar Avenue on Friday. On Friday's evening, when it was fully confirmed that it wasn't going to take place in the Prosperous Avenue. So they decided to fly this drone, the killing drone, the one that exploded. They flew this drone over all the facilities of the judicial power between Curamichata and the square that you clearly know about. And it flew over them. This is what the members of the guard saw. They saw an incoming drone, a very big drone that was making a lot of noise. The drone came in and then it started moving. It tried to go back. The drone was disturbed by the technology equipment that we use in order to disable radio signals, TV signals of drones of different types for security measures that are taken. They are signal inhibitors. And they are state-of-the-art because we have a very good security team of the highest level. And the drone that came to the Bolivar Avenue was inhibited by the IT equipment of the presidential house. In parallel, there was a second drone that was flown by group number 1, another drone by group number 1, another group of hired gangs of criminals, of murderers. They will surely have the biggest one of the trials and penalties due to this attempt of assassination against our nation, our people. Group number 1, that was made up of 4 members that you will shortly see, it flew the drone in Curamichate's corner. And it had to take a circular trajectory to be in front of the stage. So there were 2 drones planned. The first one that exploded with a pentrite component and also gunpowder. It was the one that exploded in the Bolivar Avenue, and the second one that lost control due to the inhibition mechanisms. It hit the Don Eduardo building. I would like to greet the dwellers of the Don Eduardo building. It hit the building and exploded with a C4 component as well as gunpowder. The second drone was going to come in front of the Bolivar Avenue to strike the presidential stage. So it was a comprehensive operation with 2 criminal drones of a group that was prepared in Colombia, that was trained in Colombia. We already know how it was linked directly from the participation of important politicians of Venezuela. You're going to see this shortly. Directly in the protection and training of these terrorist groups. I didn't want to rush into things, regardless of the statements that you saw during the last week of almost all the spokesmen of the right wing of Venezuela, statements where they say that Maduro's end is close. Maduro is done, Maduro is about to fall, Maduro is going to disappear, regardless of the statements that in Venezuela, in Bogota, that were provided by former President Juan Manuel Santos, that today left office, former President Álvaro Uribe Vélez, the former public servants, traitors who live in Bogota, being sponsored by the groups of the oligarchy there. Regardless of these statements, I didn't want to rush into things. We all want to, General Prosecutor and Michael Moreno, Minister of the Interior, the path we want to take, managers of Jevin and Gesina, would like to thank and publicly acknowledge the joint efforts of the best police professionals that we have in Venezuela and the world. Professionals of Jevin, of the Jevsim, and CICPC that are working together in order to capture the culprits, the subjects, and clarify this terrorist attack that attempted to kill the hope and the peace in Venezuela. I would like to thank the professional work that was carried out since the first moment. This group of Curamichate created the second explosion. This created the alarm in the Bolivar Avenue and also showed the images that were seen throughout the world, where the people, the family members of the military, of the officers that were with us, they tried to be safe. They were running. The military formation was disarmed, and these were the images that went throughout the world. It was the second explosion, and it confirmed that it was an attack, that terrorist attack. Because when I saw the explosion, it was in front of me, and I saw the smoke that was expanding, and then all of a sudden everything turned gray for me. And after watching these images, I saw the face of death. I saw death in front of me, and I said, this is not my time. Death, go away. Life is the one that should be with me. And this gave me force and bravery in order to continue and to see death in the eye, to save my life miraculously. Saving my life miraculously. I saw you dead. I saw you in the eye. And I said, go away. Go far from here. Far away from here. It was my first glimpse And the second one immediately was the second explosion. I already was sure that this was an attack that was in full development. And this is when I received the call of those protecting me from the Guard of Honor in order to proceed to evacuate the stage, all the stage. And I was concerned about what was going to happen, because you could never accept to be evacuated by yourself. Even though a president might be very important, I was concerned about the rest of the people, about saving the lives of the authorities, including a group of ambassadors and military attaches of countries that are represented in Venezuela. There was a group of ambassadors there of almost every country, those were officially represented in Venezuela. When the second explosion took place, the mechanism was activated in order to evacuate the place. And then I was taken out of the place of the event, and the investigation process started right away. 10 minutes, just 10 minutes after, 10 minutes after these events took place, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, I received a call from Néstor Revedol, minister, who told me, "President, we just apprehended 2 people with a remote controller for drones that might be involved in this event." As the moments went by, they captured the second group. And from this point on, a perfect investigation took place with all the constitutional guarantees to establish the person who were directly involved, the political support, the ones financing this, national international support to this group of murderers, to this group of criminals. The investigation had a lot of progress, and now I will show you some of it, and I will request your help to find the rest. Listen up, Venezuela. How was these people captured? Do you know how they were captured? Do you know how they were captured? They were captured with popular intelligence, because a group of Venezuelans from Caracas, from this area, while the event was taking place, they saw the strange attitude of trucks that arrived at the place, and out of which some strange individuals came out and had their drones operating. When these women, the ones I would like to thank right now, when these people realized that the explosions took place in the Bolivar Avenue, they by themselves captured them. Listen to me. Women by themselves, they were together with a man, and they apprehended the first group of terrorists who flew their drone from Curamichate, from the corner, the one that was disoriented and exploded in front of the Don Eduardo building. It was the first group to be captured. Due to whom? Due to the popular wisdom, due to the popular bravery, due to their decision. And I would like to express my appreciation and to give it up from the bottom of our heart to the bravery of the people. This is how it should be. This is what we call the war of all the people. In the military doctrine, this is called the war of all the people, where the people fight in every corner with whatever they have at hand, protecting security, peace, defending the country, defending the rights of our people, of our communities, for peace, for tranquility. This is where the miracle started. Members of the guard that were wounded. This is where the miracle started. To discover who were the suspects, who were the ones that almost killed you. Here, most of them were captured. It is a big group. Houses are being seized right now in order to capture another group, and I would like to ask the collaboration of all of Venezuela so that through the direct act of the people, of the police and the military, to catch as soon as possible the rest of the subjects, the rest of the people who led to this fascist, to this criminal attack. Right now, I would like to show you a group of videos, and please pay attention to them. I hope that Facebook networks, the Twitter networks, well, bloggers and the people who are in Facebook. Well, none of you know about Chronology, do you? You don't have a Facebook account? How can the Labor Ministry have a Facebook account? Not have a Facebook account? Who here has a Facebook account? Okay. I would like to thank you on Facebook, on Instagram, to please widespread these videos today, tomorrow. There could be a special program after this event, and during the next days to listen to the General Attorney, to Reverol, and to other ministers to let all people know, and Chancellor Jorge Arreaza explain the governments throughout the world. This is a public order I would like to particularly express. Jorge Arreaza, Chancellor and General Prosecutor, as well as Jorge Rodriguez and Néstor Reverol. I would like you to explain to the government of the United States and to the government of Colombia, the new government of Colombia, in a detailed fashion, all the proof that links them for being direct responsibles of this who live in the state of Florida. Because by using extradition agreements to request the extradition of all the people responsible that financed, directed, and orchestrated this terrorist attack, those who live in Florida or who live in the territory of both Colombia and the United States of America. I trust the good faith of government of President Donald Trump. Yes, I am saying this. I trust that President Donald Trump will not allow that in American ground the mass murder of civilian leaders, military leaders of a country, Venezuela, to be orchestrated. Those who live freely and are protected under the law of the United States. I hope to get a prompt answer and a diplomatic and judicial action. A judicial diplomatic action, the best one possible, with the best quality. I have 4 important videos with me. The first one I want to show you, which is the chronology of the attack, and all those who were involved and now are in the hands of justice, those who have confessed. These are people who were trained in the guarimbas, all of them. They were all participants of the guarimbas. All the culprits of the assassination attempt of August 4th. They're all part of people who actively participated in the violent guarimbas of 2017. All of them. They're all part of groups of guarimbas who participated in political organizations of the right wing of Venezuela. I would like to share with you, and I will ask of you to pay attention to this. Pay attention to this video with 6 minutes 17 seconds. It speaks and shows images never seen before of the attack, the assassination attempt frustrated that took place on August 4th against Venezuela. Are we ready? Let's play the video. Chronology of an attack. On August 4th, during the ceremony for the anniversary of the Bolivarian National Guard, there was an attack against the President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. Research has determined as the possible authors Raider Alexander Russo Marquez, alias Pico, protecting the Republic of Colombia, and Osman Alexis Delgado Taboski, financier living in the United States. Both of them involved in the attack to Estado Carabobo on August 6, 2017, with Sergeant Juan Carlos Monasterios Vanegas alias Bones, who has a prison warrant on Macay. Then 11 hired gangs have been captured for the Guarimbas in 2014, 2017. They were trained on the management of drones and explosives in a farm called Atalanta in the Chinacota municipality in Santander, Cúcuta, from April to June 2018. They were offered $50 million as well as residents of the States. The plan was to carry out the operation during the parade of July 5th. It didn't take place because the drones didn't arrive to Venezuela yet. I was on land and we arrived here on July 3. And we were waiting for the drones to come. They should have been delivered on July 4. However, there were problems in the airport and then we came back. Then the operation was orchestrated for August 4th. August 4th was chosen as the event because it had the participation of the political and military guard. Two teams were created to carry out the attempt. Team 1 was in a parallel avenue to the Bolivar Avenue, from Curamichate corner to the Viento, and the drone was flown from an Orlando Chevrolet. The second group worked from an office that was hired in the business center Cipreses. Both drones were flown and directed to Bolivar Avenue, specifically to the presidential stage, with the intention of carrying out the Yunque Martillo operation that consisted of exploding the drones, one over the stage and one in the frontal zone of it, that would lead to the death of all the authorities in the presidential stage. Due to the signal inhibitors installed by the security of the state, the drivers of the drones lost control and informed Taboski. This is when the detonation took place remotely. The first one was in front of the stage and wounded 7 guards. The second one, after losing control due to the inhibitors, tried to go back to its site of origin, and then it hit the Don Eduardo building locating in Curamichate and Viento. Both drones had explosive substances with high destructive impact with metal objects used there. I saw the drone. It was 5 meters away. I was in the 7th story. So it started going down slowly. It hit floor 1. Then it exploded in the floor, like 10 minutes after. The people that were apprehended were first Juan Carlos Monasteras and Argenis Valero Ruiz, who was the drone pilot. Those were driving from the Chevrolet Orlando in Curamichate. They were captured by social intelligence because some people saw that they came off a car and started flying the drone, and when they heard the explosion they surrounded them until the security came and took them. After the statement of these hired gangs, the investigation started with their phones, their attacks, in order to locate all people involved. The second group that operated from the business center Cipreses, integrated by Janine Fabiana Pernilla, alias Maria, and Brian de Jesus Oropesa Ruiz, alias Poeta, was the pilot of the second drone, and Alberto José Bracho Borosques, who was in charge of driving the other drone. They were already driving a blue Cherokee towards San Cristobal, but they were also apprehended. Intelligence continues investigating the facts in order to apprehend all the people implied in this magnicide that wanted to kill President Nicolas Maduro, as well as the military command. Of course, with this taking away the peace of the Venezuelan people. At that very moment, in front of me, a device exploded, a flying device. It was a big explosion. My first reaction was just watching, being calm. Because I trust the people and the armed forces. I trust the loyalty, and I am protected by God. Yes, God protects me, but here, the people and the forces protect me. That's why I am standing, alive and victorious, ready to fight all the battles that I have ahead of me. Standing and victorious, as well as alive, all Venezuelans. Because life has defeated death. Peace has defeated violence. The Constitution defeated terrorism. And now, justice must be victorious. There must be justice. Justice is the one that prepares the land for the future peace. Without justice, there isn't peace on any country, but specifically on Venezuela. Justice behind the responsible people, whether in Venezuela or not. It doesn't matter what's their position, what's their name, always justice. I have seen the statements of all the government institutions in the world. I would like to thank the governments and institutions for their solidarity and support for peace, for condemning terrorism and violence. I thank all the leaders of the world, the leaders of unions, of syndicates, of political parties. Thank you. We feel accompanied and loved by you. The whole world has reacted. Since hour one, since the first second, there are even some statements and demonstration of organizations throughout the world that blame this on the opposition. If you read this, I will not say who said this, that there are international authorities of the nations and beyond. They call for the opposition to take peaceful roads, to speak, to dialogue, and they're blaming all the opposition through this. Because they know in the world, they know who's capable of doing so. Who can do things as such? Some people that just went crazy and decided to do this? No, this has been clearly and perfectly orchestrated and financed. We all know about this. Today, I wanted to give you this news so that our people have information and knowledge about how far we have taken our investigations. But during the next days, we're going to speak nationally and internationally all the details about all the people involved, how much money was involved, how they were trained, where they were trained, who were the murderers, and which political leaders are involved. You can see another video. We're going to listen to this. I have requested the General Authority to show a part of the statement of the one who orchestrated, who directed the operation, Juan Carlos Monasterio, alias Bones. A retired sergeant of the military guard. He retired in 2013. Juan Carlos Monasterio, alias Bones. He had a warrant for participating in the terrorist attack of the Macay fort of 2017. He was already wanted for participating in the terrorist group that attacked our armed forces in the Paramacay fort on August 6, just 1 week before the constituent elections of last year. It was an attack that we were able to withstand and defeat. Then we captured all the people behind this. Juan Carlos Monasterio, I requested the authorization of the General Attorney, and he has provided his statement and has mentioned all the details about where they were trained, what's the relationship they had with the rest of the people, all of this. As of now, I can say that all the people apprehended have shown the details of where they were, who financed this, how they were trained, which sectors are behind the terrorist attack, all of them. So this investigation is comprehensive. And I just want to share this part with you. It is very important right now because justice, beyond going to the court, in order to have justice, there must be full awareness, knowledge, information of the national public opinion in order to have justice in the hearts and the minds of Venezuelans, and to have awareness to stop Venezuela from having the hired gangs of Colombia, for Venezuela not to become Colombia, to keep away the evil, the typical political crimes of the Colombian oligarchy that have killed all the leaders that have existed in this country, thousands of leaders, for 70 years, since Gaitan and until now. No, Venezuela should be clean of all these plagues that come from Colombia, of the Colombia of oligarchy. Let us free Venezuela from these plagues. That's why I want to show, in order for us to build on from this event, a state of consciousness that is beyond of how they have tried to damage Venezuela. And what would have happened if this attack would have taken place as planned? What would have happened if the political direction of our revolution would have been killed? How would Venezuela be today? Gaitan told the oligarchy of Bogota, if they kill me, you will have 50 years of war. He was wrong. There are already 70 years of war. No, we're not going to say the same, because we're going to live. We will continue living in order to build peace in Venezuela. But let us be aware. With bombs and with bullets, we're going to solve the problems of Venezuela. Is this the way? I ask Venezuelans, is this the way? With bombs against our political opponents by killing each other. Is this Venezuela? Is this the kind of Venezuela that we want, compatriots? May the political opponents be killed with bombs? Do we want this? No, never. We want to bring this plague from Colombia, the plague of the oligarchy, of hitmen, of murderers. Let us not allow this to happen. Let us not allow this to happen. This should be a lesson in order to raise awareness and to learn that we need to look after the future and faith of the Venezuela that we all dream of. With peace, everything is possible. Let us look at the second statement, the second video, with Sergeant, who was the boss of the assassins and hitmen. He was the operational boss of the hurricanes. Juan Carlos Monasterio was already wanted due to a terrorist attack on Puerto Paramacay. We're going to listen to a small part of his first statement that already has details after being apprehended. I am Juan Carlos Monasterio Vanegas, Sergeant. I retired in 2013. After that, I met Captain Cahuaripana in the year 2000, 2004, and 2006. And he spoke about this. He spoke about the Paramacay operation, and I said that I didn't agree to participate with this. He introduced me to Lieutenant Pico. After the attempt, after the event in Paramacay, he requested my help to rescue them from La Victoria. I went to La Victoria, and we had an accident at the toll of La Victoria. And then a colonel called Sosa Freitas gave him instructions for the Kawa event in Maracay. Here I lost contact with him until he was apprehended. Then, in October 2017, I was contacted by Lieutenant Pico to tell me that they continue with the fight to end this regime, and he told me if he could teach me about drones. I'm not a pilot, I told him. I told him that I was only a mechanic for planes. He told me that if I could provide him support with this process and driving a car, and I told him yes, and he invited me to Colombia. Then, after November, December, and January, he contacted me again and asked me what happened, why didn't I call him back. They were asking for me, and I said I was going to go in February. And then in February, I went to Colombia directly. I used my normal ID, and then in San Antonio, I was welcomed by Lieutenant Pico in Cucuta. We went to our camp. He introduced me to the lads. He told me how was this going to take place in the operation, which was an attack against the president. And then he introduced me to Osman Taboski. I came back to Venezuela, and afterwards, in June, during the first days of June, I came back to Colombia. But I had problems with my documents, and my ID was taken away. I told him about this. He spoke with Socrates. Socrates is the one in charge of doing this type of links, and I was getting to San Cristobal, and then I got a message from Juan Requesens, who said he was the one in charge of allowing me to cross the border with Julio Borges. The instructions were that whenever I reach San Antonio, to go normally through the bridge, the Colombian authorities, and then ask for Mr. Mauricio Jimenez, who's the manager there for migration in Colombia. I had no problems crossing the border. And then in Colombia, Pico was awaiting for me. And then we came back to the camp. Then we agreed how to work with the drones. And then there was a person that was in charge to pass them to Venezuela. The idea was passing them through Venezuela, taking them through plane to the Caracas airport. Then I came here on land, and we arrived here on July 3. July 3. We were waiting for the drones to arrive. They should have arrived on July 4. However, there were some issues in the airport and then they were brought back. Then, this operation was reorchestrated for August 4th. I stayed there for 1 or 2 days, take a look at how security was taking place in Los Próceres, and I told the news to Taboski and came back to my house. While being at home, I returned to Chinacota. I once again crossed the border after speaking with Mauricio Jimenez. There, on July 29, we were back with drones that were already disarmed when we passed them. It was myself with the rest of the boys, and we brought them to Barquisimeto, where they going to be received by Pastor. And then they had some tests at a house. We disassembled it, and then we brought it back here for day 2, which was August 2, in order to be here, where they were going to assemble the drones for the attack. We stayed at a hotel. A group stayed in Cabaña Suite Hotel, and another group stayed in the Pascual Hotel. I don't remember anything else. Well, a part of this, of the first statement given to the public ministry and the authorities. We can already see the different statements of all the people apprehended and involved. This now gives a sense to the investigation. It has been proven who were the people financing this. We have also proven who were the ones that exploited these devices. We have identified and proved those who directed from Colombia and Miami. We've identified the place where the drones were delivered in Colombia, in a place called Atalanta. It's a farm. Atalanta in Chinacota. Today an authority, a municipal authority of Chinacota, I think was the mayor, and provided his statement stating that I should take back my statement because I am speaking ill of Chinacota. I'm not speaking ill of Chinacota. I respect them. I respect Colombia, Chinacota, and Santander. The ones against them are the militiamen and the ones governing Colombia, as well as the assassins, the ones who have prepared from Colombian territory the assassination of the president of Venezuela. They are the ones who go against Venezuela. Colombia has been the basis of operation for the conspiracy to divide the armed forces, to kill the military command, to kill the authorities. And on August 4th, well, from Colombia, endorsed by Juan Manuel Santos' government, there was an assassination attempt on Nicolas Maduro Moros, this working president that you have in front of you. Never before we had seen something as this, where a neighbor country conspires to create death, attacks, terrorism. Terrorists are trained in Colombia, they're financed in Colombia. In these statements, in many of these statements, Julio Borges is one of the people involved. All these statements lead to Julio Borges, who lives in a mansion in Bogota under the law of the government of Colombia. Julio Borges. We know that he is a coward who's willing to participate in events as such. He has taken part in all the events of the Guarimbas and all the coups that have taken place in the last years. Always Julio Borges, always. Now he's been directly referenced. Another leader of the opposition, one of the craziest ones, a psychopath. Requesens is his name. He's a psychopath. One of the people of the opposition who 6 months ago called for an invasion of the American army to occupy Venezuela. We have enough information of this, and they have been denounced by the actual perpetrators and also by Mauricio Jiménez Pinzón, a migration officer. Mauricio Jiménez Pinzón. ID 79868. Migration officer, code 3010, the creating of the personal global plan. He was the one that had the task of ensuring that terrorists could reach Venezuela and go to the Atalanta farm for their training to kill the Venezuelan president. This is the officer that was in charge. And he was brought by Julio Borges in the government of Colombia by the psychopath Juan Requesens, who's a congressman of the opposition. We all know all of this by now. We're getting to know everything. Here he is. We're going to request for this person to be extradited to Venezuela, to be handed over to the Venezuelan authorities. Likewise, we have requested the main members that you're going to see now in different evidence of this coup. One of them, who was wanted on air, land, and sea, the colonel and traitor Osvaldo Valentín García Paloma. Please take this to all the country. He is wanted. He is the manager, the boss of the assassins, who's trying to bring in soldiers to add to his adventures, criminal and fascist. This is the before and this is the after. We are actively looking for him. Retired Colonel García Palomo, a corrupt who manages millions of dollars. Where is this money coming from? Well, he works with Juan Manuel Santos' government. He's an operator, direct operator for the attack against the armed forces. I also would like to request a collaboration. Here we have Pico. He is no tenant, but he is the planner. He is the recruiter and trainer. This person, called Russo Marquez, is a protege of the government of Colombia. And he's one of the people who planned the attack against me on August 4th. Zoom in so that Venezuelans, whatever they see, we're actively looking for him. He could still be in Venezuelan territory. Zoom in because we need to look for him. We need to show these images on every social network, the pictures of these criminals. We're going to find them with popular intelligence. Alert Bolivarian National Guard. Let's find these murderers, wherever they may be. Full name: Ryder Alexander Russo Marquez, alias Pico, protege of the government of Colombia. He is a criminal, a murderer. We are going to find him. We are going to get him. We're going to send him to jail. You're going to see this. What I say, I do. This is what will happen. He is a criminal. He's a murderer. We will find you. I would also like to ask real-time collaboration in order to find the person who blew these explosives. The picture is not good. I want a full picture of Gregorio José Yaguas Monge, alias Latino. He is one of the people who blew the explosives. He's trying to flee the country. Let us zoom in, please. If you see him now at any restaurant, bar, hotel of the country, call the police, call the National Guard, call the military command so that we can't find him. He is one of the murderers. He is a terrorist and he is at large. And right now, he's actively wanted himself and his accomplices. Gregorio José Yaguas Monge's murderer, terrorist. Likewise, I would like to request a collaboration for the second member of the explosion crew, a terrorist, Gilbert Alberto Escalona Torrealba, fully acknowledged by all the people apprehended for the attack that took place on August 4th. Please, let's have the full name of this person. Gilbert Alberto Escalona Torrealba. Spread this on all the media, social networks, press, his face. I want to find these people, to be taken to justice, and to face the biggest penalty for being criminals and murderers, because this is what they are. We cannot allow the plague of hired gangs of political murderers to come from Colombia and be installed in Venezuela. We cannot do this, officers. We cannot allow this. Officers and compatriots, we cannot allow this plague to be in Venezuela. No, Venezuela deserves better. Venezuela deserves peace, regardless of the differences that we may have. Always in peace, respecting each other. Beyond our words, beyond the political debate, beyond whatever we may think about the opponent, the rival, about their lives, about their rights, about freedom, respect. And finally, we must proceed and request, based on the extradition agreement that we have with the government of Colombia, with the Colombian state, actually. But I would also like to request the extradition immediately of the manager, the political manager, and the main financer of this terrorist group, Osman Alexis Delgado Taboski, who lives in Florida. Know him, international community. See his face, Delgado Taboski. He personally directed through communication radial systems, as I'm going to show you, directed the terrorist attack. But also, he financed and participated in the attack against the Paramacay fort. We need to bring him here. There must be justice. Prosecutor, chancellor, members of the judicial branch. We need to have this person extradited from the States to our country. We must do this. Osman Alexis Delgado Taboski, a coward. He is a coward. It's very easy to go to your States. Come here and fight here, face to face. Coward. You're nothing but a coward and a murderer. Osman Alexis Delgado Taboski. Wanted. 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 I want to share with you a part of the evidence that we have. They have this information in their cell phones, in their electronic devices. They recorded the talks that they had before and during the attack. There are hours of talks about this, coordinating every single detail. The work team, the investigation team, has prepared a part of this video, and please pay attention because here different members of the operation group of murderers, of killers, group 1 and group 2, there's a very clear voice of their boss, of this person, Juan Carlos Monasterio, who you just saw, and also the participation from Florida of this assassin, of this criminal, Osman Alexis Delgado Taboski. We have proof. We are not just saying, we have facts, we have proof, we have recordings, we have videos. In these 2 sets of evidence that I have shown you, there are part of original pictures, original videos taken by themselves with their phones, and that we need to share. I authorize this because I have been authorized by the prosecutor's office, Minister Jorge Rodriguez, Minister Reverol. I authorize you for the next hours and next days to show in detail and explain in detail, because the country needs to know the truth, all the truth, every single fact that has been found in the cell phones, their plans, their talks, the pictures, where they ate, where they slept, who financed this, who paid for this, who paid for the hotels, because they were staying at this hotel for weeks. I would like to share this with you. This is part of the recording of the interim communication systems in real time at the moment where the event started and was taking place, where this criminal attack took place on August 4th. Are you ready? Let's show the video. Good morning. Please answer this. Good morning. Here, Bonds. No news. Juan Carlitos, are you activated? Okay, listen. I'm going to give you an account number because now my phone is busy with a video call. I will give you a Banesco account number, and you're going to deposit the amount of money that you see. And through mail, you will send this deposit to the mail shown here, okay? Activate there, please. Please answer with voice notes in order to have communication test, and then delete this in order to have some tests. Okay, test ready. Okay, everything. The device is ready. I will now transport it. I was busy, but I am here. I closed the conversation and everything is working fine. Now, we start communication only through these means. Teams confirm. I have taken away the cell phones and they are off. Okay, as of now, the operation starts. The operation has just started now. We need to know that no one can know about this. We should not allow fear to dominate us. Okay? No one knows what we're doing. We need to think and act in a cold way. We need to act naturally. No one knows what we're doing, okay? Okay, change the position. I'm at the place. Okay, Alpha 2 there. Ready? I can see where you're located right now. Get there as soon as possible. Where the audience is for the act. Maria, listen. The janitor is going to open the door and go to the 10th floor. The team is there. Roger that. Maria, communicate. Maria, communicate. Speak clearly. Speak clear. Speak loud. Don't speak to Maria like this. Come on, what's that? Behave, Buns. Maria, listen. Because we're going to communicate with you through your phone. So listen to the communication with your team. The cake is displayed and the camera is tuned in. I'm going to send you the location through the GPS of the site that I'm going to find. Tell me, how far is this? Okay, roger that. We're waiting for this. The person who's working with the taxes has stated they have only two, but one of the cars in a hurry and they want to leave because he has been waiting for us since 2. I told him that at 5:30 I will be there. I think that we're going to, well, the group needs to go to La Bandera and request a transfer there. Confirm this information to know what to tell people here, please. Alpha 2, the act started and you didn't let us know. Okay, let's keep this clear. Let's keep the channel clear, okay? A single life, a single route. Just one effort, Hugo Rafael Chavez Frias. How far is Alpha 1 located? In order to measure distance time. What happened with Morpheus? Why is Morfeo not part of the group anymore? He's far enough. He's far enough. Far enough. He left the group because it was okay to listen to conversations with the hands-free device. Activating GSM. GSM active. Connect the battery cable. Port knows which one it is. Connected and wait for the light to be turned off. Keep it as it is. The GPS has a switch. It's off. Turn it on. Keep it like this. Don't do anything else. When the order for the operation to start is given, test the start with the control and look for the switcher to be off, for it not to be on, okay? Please. When this is ready, put the two wires, yellow and yellow and red, and the drone should already be held by you. Okay, the process is ready, we're just waiting. Fly mode should be on P position. Once again, fly mode should be on P position. Okay, confirm, because this is something we need right away, because they're asking us to check out and we need to be here repairing something. Here, Abel. Roger. Alpha 1 confirmed the help of the 4 vehicles, 2 for you, 2 for Maria. They're in position and they know the characteristics of vehicles and the support. Alpha 2. The act was supposed to start at 4. The state channel hasn't started this yet. Please let us know what is happening there, if this act started or it hasn't. Okay, Alpha 2. Let me know. We are waiting for the act to begin because we didn't see anything on the news. Going up. Calm, Alpha 4. Ready. We're here. The act to start. Okay, so we wait for Alpha 2. Let's keep the channel open. News. Everyone is silent. Say something. Alpha 1. Tell the engineer that there must be a P mode in order to hit the target. Part of the recordings that have been registered are just a group of a great number of proofs that we have from the public ministry in this historical process. This should be given to the country and the international community because this conspiracy, this assassination command come from abroad. We need to get to the bottom of this. Who gave this command? From where? I said I told the ex-president Juan Manuel Santos, I know that he was a part of this, and I have many reasons to believe so, more than the ones I can let you know about. Weeks ago, he had an interview with the former president of Spain, Mariano Rajoy. Mariano Rajoy, if he listens to this, he knows this is true. Mariano Rajoy asked Venezuela, and Juan Manuel Santos answered that before leaving office on August 7, Maduro was going to be out of office. And Rajoy was concerned. He was asking what was going to happen, and he said, don't worry, I can tell you this for sure. And President Rajoy, well, he said this to this macabre character, to this hypocrite, a murderer, the murderer that we know Juan Manuel Santos is. The number of deaths he left behind, over 1,500 people killed, a history of hypocrisy, of lies, and then he left. He left. He left. He turned Bogota into the center, the hub of the conspiracy against peace and security and democracy in Venezuela. We cannot accept this. We must be fully aware. Public institutions, intelligence, armed forces, we must know. Every single soldier must be aware of the reasons, the historical reasons, and the reasons of today of the conspiracy of Bogota against the project of Bolivar, against the project for a nation. We need to establish and create justice with more reasons, more than the ones that I am showing today for the public. That terrorist, very brave, right, in these talks. Don't be afraid, he said. Don't be afraid. Now he's in Miami. He's in Miami. Very well done. Cold blood, they say. And then he was directing with a GPS the explosion in our beloved Caracas, in our beloved nation. These are all elements that should create a conscience. Today, we learned, amongst many other things, there was a former police officer of the right wing who said that he was the one who orchestrated the attack. Today, he was the special guest of the ceremony of taking office of the President of Colombia, a municipal police officer of Carabobo. This should all be part of the investigation and international requests, because he has taken authority of this, and he was in Bogota in front of the president, taking office next to him, the political power. We also witnessed a video, among many others, a terrible one, scatological video, as a friend of mine would say. I think it's important to present this. Beyond the psychopath features, beyond the drug addiction problems, beyond the behavior of this journalist who works in Florida State, is the seriousness of this from a TV channel from the States of America. They know that there has been a previous attempt on killing a president, and this is supported, and there will be new attempts. This is said by a president, by a person that you're gonna see there. I also want justice. Let us look for justice. Let us look for justice. These things cannot happen in this world. They simply cannot happen. Just like this journalist who, in a psychological way, speaks about this. Well, just like that. They are creating in Florida, from Bogota, from Colombia, a situation that we need to look into and to finish forever, because with justice, anything is possible. Watch this video, please. Watch it. Because there is a competition of egos in Florida between the groups of the extreme right-wing terrorists, criminals. Then, this is the reason why they carry out this type of actions, which are illegal in their states and in any other country of the world. I heard about this plan during the week. My sources are often reliable. They told me about this, and they called me to a meeting. I didn't want to attend because I am lazy. But I went there. I listened to them, and they told me, on Saturday we're going to kill Maduro with drones. We have tested the drones in Caracas. They work perfectly. And I said, go ahead, do it. Here you can see the lack of ethical behavior, the non-political way of doing this. This is non-political. It's easy to do this, to send someone to kill a president from their state, and apparently the American laws allow this to happen. What would happen if a TV channel of Venezuela would show a journalist, a coward as this one, wanting to kill a president in the world? What do you think would happen if, from a TV station in Venezuela, someone would call for the assassination of the President of the States? What do you think would happen? Well, we will first apprehend this person, and we will take this person to a trial, and they will be sentenced, because this is a serious crime in Venezuela, and we respect international law. We respect all the governments in the world, even the ones that we don't share a lot with. Just like we respect our internal opponents, people, this kind of people, they are the ones who create. They create a critical group of assassins, and they want to turn politics into something related to hired guns, to the mafia, who can kill more opponents. This is their policy. Is this politics? I ask political leaders of the Venezuelan opposition. I ask this to the political leaders of Latin America and the Caribbean. Are politics going to be about murdering your opponent, going against your opponent, and killing him or her? No. From Venezuela, we say no. From Venezuela, we say peace, life, democracy, respect, coexistence, and justice. Firm with justice. This isn't a problem related to Maduro. It's not about Maduro. No. It is a country. A country that deserves to be respected and deserves peace as well. This is not about Maduro. This is a historical project. It is a people. It is a country. It is a historic project. Yes. Let me tell you, compatriots, those who see and watch me, I have survived thousands of attacks in thousands of different circumstances. And on August 4th, I survived an assassination attempt that was orchestrated from Colombia and Miami. If I'm here today, alive, blessed, filled with energy to continue with my life to the future, my life, it doesn't belong to me. My life belongs to every single one of you, dear compatriots. And whatever I have left of this new life, I will give it all for this country, for this project, for these people, all of it. I just want national union. I want unity for peace. I want the union between civilians and soldiers in peace and for peace. I want us to be together to face difficulties, to face problems. I want us to be united in peace and with respect for the plague of the Colombian oligarchy to be kept away, and with justice get rid of whatever is here, in whatever is left of the political body. The repudiation of these attacks is total, coming from all the country, and I can also speak about the international community as a whole. Repudiation. The truth will come. We're going to have more and more events that will tell us the truth of who did this, how was this done, who financed this, who ordered this, in order to strengthen the national spirit of our country. The national body turned into a whole, united it into a whole. The opinion of some, the opinion of others. I call for national union. To return from this strike and have a lot of strength and to keep focus of our strategy, compatriots. Some say that the desperation of these terrorist groups come from the political defeats that they've had electorally. This is true. Some say that desperation is here because they've lost all support and they are no longer part of the political and democratic life. This is true. Some say that they all live abroad, and from the outside, their vision is close to the one of the extreme groups of Colombia and Miami. They are clouded, they don't see reality, and this is true. But some say that their biggest desperation comes because I have prepared and already activated the first actions of a program for economic recovery, for growth and prosperity, that is going to bring Venezuela up and allow us to recover from the economic war, to stabilize, to normalize, and to bring a benefit to our people. With the new currency of August 20, with a comprehensive conversion that is going to be activated from August 20, then everything will be over. We will start a new stage of flourishing, of recovery. We turn the page on economic wars. We burn the hands of those who stole from us, those who speculate with dollars, to all of those who steal with criminal prices every day. I believe that the desperation is so that Maduro, as a president, to be prevented from carrying out the economic plan that he has activated. Let us keep focus. I call all the country, all the productive forces of our country. The path of Venezuela can never be economic war or speculation, economic damage. The path for Colombia cannot be terrorism and violence, no. The path of Venezuela must be social protection, social security, solidarity. The path of Venezuela should be work, recovery, production, productivity, prosperity, growth. This is the path that Venezuela should take. This is where we should be focused. We should take all our efforts here. Friends, compatriots, today I have more energy than ever. Today I am more decided than ever. I am more clear than ever. Today I know that the fate of Venezuela is in our hands. And let me tell you, compatriots, it is in good hands. Minorities, violent minorities, will not be able to kill us. They will not be able to kill us. The majority will win. The majority is that we love. Those who want peace, those who want to see our families live in peace, those who want to recover a nation. We will win. And this is how it will be. This is how it will be. Let there be justice, compatriots. Every day there must be justice, with truth. And with justice, we will heal the wounds left by this terrorist attack. Only with truth and justice, with a national awareness of constitutional peace, of Republican peace. This is the only armor that Venezuela has over the plagues that come from abroad. We will armor our nation from these plagues. Friends, brothers in the military, survivors with me of this attack, let us thank God for being alive today. Let us thank Chinita for shielding our lives. But let us dedicate every second of our life to strengthen the Bolivarian and revolutionary union of the armed forces of our country, of reinforcing the union and leadership of the armed forces to our people. Brothers, sisters, presidents, ministers, the same for you. This is a golden opportunity that life gave us. We have lived through all of this, everything that I've been through. They have been able to do so. They haven't been able, nor will they be. I trust the people of Venezuela. I trust the future of Venezuela. Let us work. Let us work hard and harder to reach peace and economic prosperity. I believe in Venezuela. I believe in love. And I believe in life. Thank you, my God. Thank you, my people. Let us continue with justice, with truth, creating a powerful Venezuela. Let us, no one stop us. Thank you very much, Venezuela. Always from the bottom of my heart. Always to victory, Venezuela. We will defeat. Thank you. Good night.
So we've just been listening in to President Nicolas Maduro address to the nation, where he gave information about the investigation into Saturday's assassination attempt. The precise location from where both drones were launched has been identified. There were two teams involved in the attack who had scoped the locations in advance. The chemical composition of the drones has been analyzed. Evidence has been presented showing that the attackers were trained in Chinacota, norte de Santander in Colombia. Investigators have enough evidence to show that Colombian oligarchy is implicated. The attack was actually planned for another date, but there were delays at the airport with the drone delivery. The route of the drones had been planned out in advance in great detail. Attackers were captured by popular intelligence and courage. Some of the perpetrators were detained within 15 minutes of the attack. Maduro has released the names, photos, and testimonies of the arrested. The drones carried C4 components and gunpowder, and they were carrying enough to cause mass damage. Help of Colombian and U.S. presidents in their collaboration in further investigation and extradition of the culprits. And that's all we have for you now. For these and other stories, you can go to our website at telesurtv.net/English.
We are present at every event where our nations are staring. We believe in a new global vision, united in every broadcasting. We keep expanding our horizons and working on a closer and better communication. Now, in Grenada, Telesur, the news source from South America and the Caribbean.